On the distant planet of Sinar, a royal family of aliens prepared for a significant mission to make contact with the humans of Earth. The Sinar were known across the galaxy for their advanced technology, stunning beauty, and unmatched intelligence. Their skin shimmered with a soft glow, and their elongated limbs and tall frames were as graceful as they were powerful. But despite their superior intellect and strength, the Sinar had never fully understood the strange, unpredictable species that lived on Earth. Among the royal family were two sisters, Lyra and Vera, who were especially intrigued by humanity. Lyra, the older of the two, was methodical and analytical, always keen to understand the mechanics of the universe. She found pleasure in solving problems, studying patterns, and uncovering secrets. Vera, on the other hand, was spontaneous and curious. She was more interested in the emotions and experiences of others, drawn to the way humans seemed to live with such passion and unpredictability. When their family's starship arrived on Earth, the atmosphere was tense. Diplomacy between the Sinar and humans was fragile, and no one wanted to risk upsetting the delicate balance. The sisters were told to observe, to learn, and to avoid making waves. But their curiosity about the humans only grew. One day, while exploring the bustling streets of a human city, the sisters were drawn to a market filled with all sorts of strange items. The air smelled of fresh food, the sound of voices filled the streets, and colorful stalls offered everything from clothing to small trinkets. Lyra and Vera wandered among the crowd, their alien eyes scanning every detail, their minds racing with questions. Then, Vera noticed something that caught her attention. At one of the stalls, there was a table filled with what seemed like little mechanical objects. Some were colorful, some were small, and others looked like they might be old. Vera's curiosity flared up, and she moved closer to inspect the items. Lyra followed her, intrigued by her sister's sudden interest. "What are these?" Vera asked, picking up a small, intricate object from the table. It was a toy, though neither sister could understand its purpose at first. It looked like a puzzle, with interlocking pieces that seemed to fit together in unusual ways. The human vendor smiled at them, sensing their confusion. "That's a fidget toy," he explained. "It's simple, but people like to play with it when they're thinking or feeling stressed." Vera's eyes widened as she turned the toy over in her hands. "Stress. Humans need something to help them with that," she asked, her voice full of curiosity. Lyra, ever the problem solver, inspected the toy more closely. "It's not just a toy," she said. "There's something interesting about how it moves. It's like a puzzle, but different. It might even be more complex than it looks." The vendor nodded, glad to see the sisters intrigued. "Exactly. It's about the rhythm, the feeling. It helps the mind relax and stay focused." Vera didn't fully understand, but she felt something stirring inside her. There was something deeply human about the idea of a simple object helping someone calm their mind or stay focused. She looked at Lyra, who was already lost in thought, analyzing the toy's mechanism. Could this be the key to understanding humans better? Lyra wondered aloud. Their technology isn't as advanced as ours, but they have a unique way of dealing with emotions and thoughts. This toy, maybe it's not just a distraction. Maybe it's part of how humans think, how they live. Vera was hooked. She wanted to know more. "Can we try it?" The vendor smiled again and handed them a few more toys to explore. The sisters sat down on a nearby bench, their hands moving quickly as they examined the toys. They began to understand the appeal. It wasn't about advanced technology or scientific discoveries. It was about connection. Humans used these simple objects to ground themselves, to stay focused and calm in a world full of distractions. As the sisters sat there, surrounded by the bustling humans, they realized something new about the species they had come to observe. It wasn't their strength or intelligence that set them apart, but their ability to adapt, to create tools that helped them navigate the complexities of their emotions and minds. For the first time, Lyra and Vera felt a deep curiosity about humanity, not just for their technology or their strange customs, but for the way they used simple things to help them survive and thrive in their chaotic world. The encounter with the toys was just the beginning. There was so much more to learn about Earth, and the sisters couldn't wait to explore it all. After their first encounter with the human toys, Lyra and Vera couldn't stop thinking about them. The small mechanical objects, so simple yet captivating, had sparked something inside both sisters. As the days passed, they found themselves seeking out more of these peculiar items wherever they went. The sisters, once focused on the grand mission of diplomatic relations, now found themselves quietly obsessing over the human inventions. What started as a casual curiosity soon became something more. In the royal ship's observation room, Lyra sat alone, staring at a small table filled with the fidget toys they had collected. Her sharp, blue eyes scanned each one, studying their designs and mechanisms with the precision of a scientist. She'd never encountered anything like them before. Each toy seemed so basic, yet each piece seemed to contain a hidden complexity. Lyra's mind raced as she thought about the puzzle they presented. "This is fascinating," she murmured to herself. "There's something about how they're made. Simple, but they work in ways I can't quite explain. It's like they were designed with the human mind in mind." Vera, who had just entered the room, raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean? It's just toys, right?" Lyra looked up, her expression serious. "It's not just that. These toys are more than simple distractions. Humans use them for focus, for relaxation, for emotional balance. There's a deeper purpose behind them, something we don't fully understand yet." Vera smiled, amused by her sister's enthusiasm. "You always think too much about these things. But I get it. They're kind of addictive. I can't stop playing with them either." Lyra nodded, her thoughts focused. "But it's not about addiction. It's about something else. It's like a key to understanding the way humans think. We've studied their technology, their society, but we've never really looked at what makes them tick on a deeper level." Vera's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I want to know more. Let's find more of these toys. We can't be the only ones interested in them." The sisters spent the next few days in human cities, visiting markets, shops, and even small street vendors in search of more toys. They discovered that there were hundreds of different types. Some were small and handheld, others large and complex, some designed for children, and others made for adults. They began to notice patterns in the designs. A toy designed to relieve stress, another to help with concentration, and others that seemed to simply entertain. But the deeper they dug, the more curious they became about the emotional connection humans had to these simple objects. One afternoon, while exploring a particularly busy market, they came across an elderly human woman sitting at a stall, selling brightly colored toys. Her wrinkled face lit up when she saw the sisters approach. "Ah, you two are looking for the best," the woman exclaimed, her eyes twinkling. "These are my pride and joy. Handcrafted, each one with a little bit of love." Vera grinned and picked up a small spinning top. "They're beautiful," she said. "How do they work?" The woman smiled. "You see, the beauty of these toys isn't just in how they spin or how they're made. It's in how they make people feel. Some days, a person just needs a moment to themselves. These toys, they help with that." Lyra, ever the thinker, asked, "Why do you think these toys are so important to humans? What is it about them?" The elderly woman paused, as if thinking about it for the first time. "Well, I think humans are always in a rush, always thinking ahead, always trying to solve problems. These toys remind us to slow down, to enjoy the little things, to be present in the moment. And when we're calm, when we're focused, we can think better, we can create better." Vyra looked at Lyra, her eyes wide with realization. "So it's not just about the toy itself. It's about what it represents. It's about finding peace and focus." Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes. It's about balance, about controlling the chaos of the mind." The sisters walked away from the stall with a new sense of awe. They had come to Earth to learn about the humans' technology and ways, but they never expected something as simple as a toy to hold such profound meaning. It was clear to them now that these toys were more than just distractions. They were tools for emotional balance, for mental clarity, and for understanding the complexities of the human experience. The more they thought about it, the more they realized that they could never truly understand humanity by just studying their technology or their cities. The true key to understanding humans, it seemed, was hidden in their simple creations, the things they made to help them cope with the challenges of life. The sisters' journey had only just begun, but already they felt that they were closer to something important, something that might change everything they thought they knew about humanity. The sisters' secret exploration of human toys continued, each day bringing new discoveries. What had started as a simple curiosity had now become an obsession. Lyra and Vera were no longer just collecting toys. They were uncovering hidden truths about humanity. And the more they learned, the more they questioned everything they thought they knew about their own people. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the earth, Lyra sat on the observation deck of the royal ship, staring out at the planet below. In her hands, she turned a small, ancient-looking toy over and over. It was different from the others they had collected, older, worn, and seemingly more intricate. This one didn't just spin or move in simple ways. It had a series of small, delicate pieces that clicked together in a specific sequence. It was a puzzle, but unlike any she had ever seen. Vyra walked in, noticing the toy in Lyra's hands. "Where did you find that one?" she asked, sitting beside her sister. "It's strange," Lyra replied, not looking up. "I found it at a small, hidden stall in a quiet market. The human who sold it to me didn't say much, just that it was a memory." She paused, her voice quieter now. "I don't think it's just a toy. There's something special about it." Vyra raised an eyebrow. "A memory? You mean it's old?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, it's old, but that's not what I mean. It's different. When I look at it, I feel something. It's like I can sense the history of it, like it's been passed down from one person to another, each one adding something of themselves to it." Vyra frowned, reaching for the toy. "Let me see." Lyra handed it over, watching as her sister's fingers traced the grooves of the puzzle. Vera tried twisting the pieces, but nothing happened. She furrowed her brow. "It's not working. How do you feel something from it?" Lyra sighed, leaning back in her chair. "I don't know how to explain it. It's not just about how it works. It's about what it represents. This toy has been with humans for generations. It's like a part of their history, a part of their emotions. And they don't just throw it away when it's no longer useful. They keep it, pass it down. They hold on to it." Vyra was silent for a moment, her hands still resting on the toy. Then, slowly, she nodded. "I think I understand. It's more than a toy. It's a piece of them." Lyra looked at her sister. "Yes, and I think that's the key to understanding humans. They don't just create things for practicality. They create things that hold meaning, objects that carry emotions, memories, and connections." Vera stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the distant earth. "But why do they do it this way? Why not just rely on their technology, like we do? Why keep things that don't have a clear purpose?" Lyra joined her, standing beside her sister. "I don't know, but I think it's because humans understand something we don't. They understand that life isn't just about advancement or power. It's about relationships. It's about the connections between people, between generations. These toys, these small objects, help them hold onto those connections." Vyra turned to her sister, her eyes wide. "So, what if these toys are the key to something bigger, something we're missing?" Lyra's gaze was fixed on Earth below, her mind racing. "What if they are? We've been so focused on technology and intellect. But maybe humans have figured out something deeper. Maybe it's not about how advanced you are or how powerful. Maybe it's about how connected you are, how you relate to each other, how you hold on to your past. Vira's heart beat faster as she considered her sister's words. What if these simple toys can teach us something about ourselves? About our own people? What if we've been wrong all along? Lyra turned to face her sister, her voice serious. I think we have to find out. We have to understand this, what it means to be human. We can't just keep thinking of them as weak, primitive beings. They might be onto something we've completely overlooked. For the first time, the sisters felt a deep sense of purpose. They weren't just studying toys anymore. They were exploring something much more profound, the very essence of humanity. These small objects, so simple yet so powerful, seemed to hold the answers to questions they hadn't even known to ask. But their discoveries also raised new questions. Was it possible for the Xinar, with their advanced technology and intellect, to learn from these simple emotional objects? Could they, too, find meaning in things that weren't just about efficiency or power? And perhaps most importantly, what would happen if the Xinar embraced these ideas, these connections that humans held so dear? The sisters knew that the answers to these questions could change everything, for the Xinar, for humans, and for the galaxy as a whole. But they also knew that the journey ahead would not be easy. They would have to continue their secret research, pushing the boundaries of what they understood about humans and about themselves. The sisters' investigation into human toys had taken on new significance. What once seemed like a fleeting curiosity had now become a profound exploration of humanity. Lyra and Vera were no longer just collecting toys. They were uncovering pieces of a much larger puzzle, one that spoke of human connections, memories, and emotions. Yet even as they dove deeper, they couldn't shake the sense that they were getting dangerously close to something they couldn't fully understand. One evening, after a particularly long day of searching through Earth's markets, the sisters sat together in their private quarters aboard the royal ship. Lyra stared at a puzzle in her hands, her mind far away. She felt an odd connection to it, as if the simple pieces were somehow alive with meaning. Vera, sensing her sister's quiet contemplation, leaned forward. You've been distant lately. What's going on? Lyra slowly looked up from the puzzle, her eyes tired but focused. I keep thinking about what we're doing. I keep thinking about these toys, these objects. They're not just distractions. They're something more. Something we've been missing. Vera tilted her head. I know. I've been feeling it too. It's like these things are somehow keeping us connected. Not just to each other, but to something bigger. Something we've never understood. Lyra's fingers tightened around the puzzle pieces. Exactly. It's like every toy tells a story. And in every story, there's a connection. A connection between the person who made it, the person who used it, and the one who will come after. Vera looked out the window at the glowing planet below. But what does that mean for us? We're not human. We don't have these kinds of connections. We don't pass down toys or memories like they do. Lyra's voice was softer now, almost a whisper. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we've been so focused on being better, being more powerful, that we've forgotten how to truly connect with each other. Maybe it's not about being the strongest or the smartest. Maybe it's about remembering who we are, where we came from, and the people we care about. Vera was silent for a long moment. She had never really thought about it that way. The Xinar were a proud people, advanced in technology, in intellect, in everything that mattered in the galaxy. They had always prided themselves on their achievements, their strength, and their superiority. But what Lyra was suggesting made her question everything. What if we've been wrong? Vera finally asked, her voice hesitant. What if we've been so focused on ourselves that we've missed something important? Something humans understand that we don't? Lyra met her sister's gaze, her eyes filled with a quiet certainty. That's what I've been thinking. These toys, they're not just for fun. They're symbols of something humans value deeply. They represent their connections, their past, and their emotions. They remind us that it's not just about what we can do. It's about who we are, and who we are to each other. Vera stood up, walking to the window as she let her sister's words sink in. She had always respected Lyra's intelligence, but this was something different, something deeper. For the first time, she wondered if they had underestimated humans. They had always looked down on them, thinking their toys and emotions were silly, unimportant. But now, it seemed those very things might hold the key to something much greater. "I think I understand now," Vera said, her voice filled with a new sense of determination. "We need to learn from them. Not just their technology, not just their systems, but their hearts, their way of connecting with the world." Lyra nodded, a sense of purpose in her expression. "Exactly. It's about learning to be present, to cherish the connections we have. We can't just focus on what's ahead. We need to understand where we've come from and who we're doing this for." Vyra turned back to her sister, her face serious. "But how do we bring this back to XNR? How do we show our people what we've learned without them thinking we've lost our minds?" Lyra's eyes glimmered with quiet resolve. "We don't have to prove it all at once. We start small. We show them the toys. We show them the value in these simple things, the way humans use them to connect with each other. We don't have to convince everyone right away. But maybe, just maybe, we can plant the seed of something new." Vyra smiled. "I like that. Maybe we can change things, one toy at a time." As the sisters sat together, their minds racing with ideas, they knew they had crossed a line they couldn't uncross. They had opened their eyes to a new way of thinking, and the path ahead was uncertain. But for the first time in a long while, they felt like they were on the right track. The answers they sought were not hidden in technology or power, but in the simplest of human creations, objects that carried with them the weight of memory, love, and connection. And as they continued their quiet rebellion, studying the toys and learning from the humans who made them, they realized that this journey would change everything, not just for them, but for their entire people. The weight of their discovery was growing heavier with each passing day. Lyra and Vera had spent countless hours studying the toys, analyzing the emotional connections humans formed with them. What had once seemed like harmless curiosity had turned into a personal mission, one that both sisters could no longer ignore. They had found something valuable, something that could change everything for the Xinar people. But now, they had to decide whether to share it or keep it hidden forever. Sitting together in their private quarters, Lyra stared at the growing collection of toys scattered across the table. Her fingers lightly brushed over the surface of a small wooden figure, worn smooth by years of use. "It's hard to believe how much meaning these things hold," she said quietly, her voice distant. Vyra watched her sister, sensing the weight of the moment. "I know. Every one of these toys is a story, a piece of someone's life. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's a whole culture, a way of living, a way of connecting." Lyra nodded slowly. "It's not just about toys. It's about how humans live. They hold on to things that remind them of who they are, of the people they've loved, and the memories they've shared. We don't do that. We're focused on progress, on power. But humans, they focus on connections. They're not afraid to show vulnerability. They embrace it." Vyra looked out the window, her mind racing with the implications of what her sister was saying. "But how do we bring this back to the Xinar? We've spent so long focusing on technology, on power. How can we explain that these small, simple things matter more than anything else?" Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "That's what we need to figure out. We can't just go back and tell them everything we've learned. It won't make sense to them. But maybe we can show them. Maybe if we bring back these toys, if we show them the emotions humans attach to these objects, we can begin to change how they think." Vyra frowned. "But will they listen? Will they understand what we found?" "We can't be afraid to try," Lyra said firmly. "The Xinar are a people who value logic and intellect, but maybe they're missing something. Maybe, in all their focus on strength and knowledge, they'd forgotten the importance of feelings. We can show them that there's more to life than power. There's more to life than technology." Vera sat down next to her sister, her expression thoughtful. But we be going against everything we've been taught. Our people are proud of their strength, their advanced technology. They won't understand why we're so fascinated with these human toys. It could ruin everything." Lyra's voice softened, but it was filled with conviction. "I know, but I think it's worth the risk. If we don't try, if we don't share what we've learned, then we'll never know if we're missing out on something crucial, something that could change everything for us." For a long moment, the two sisters sat in silence, contemplating the decision ahead of them. They knew that revealing their findings could lead to rejection or worse. The Xinar had a strict code of honor, and deviating from that could have serious consequences. But deep down, both Lyra and Vera knew that what they had learned was too important to keep hidden. They had witnessed the way humans connected with one another, the way they found strength in their relationships and memories. It was something that Xinar had long forgotten, and it could be the key to a future where strength and emotion went hand in hand. Finally, Vera spoke, her voice steady. "You're right. We can't just hide this. We have to try. Even if they don't understand, we can't ignore what we've learned. We'll show them, one step at a time." Lyra smiled, a sense of relief washing over her. "Thank you. We'll start small. We'll show them the toys, let them see how they represent something deeper. And if they don't understand, we'll keep trying. We owe it to ourselves, and to the humans, to try." The decision had been made. The sisters would return to the Xinar with the toys they had collected, with the lessons they had learned from humanity. It wouldn't be easy, and it wouldn't be quick, but they were ready to take the first step toward a new future, one where emotional connection was just as important as technological advancement. As they stood up to prepare for their journey back to the Xinar, both Lyra and Vera felt a mix of excitement and fear. The future was uncertain, and their people might not welcome their ideas, but they knew they had found something worth fighting for. They had seen what it meant to be human, and now it was time to share that understanding with the galaxy. As the days passed, Lyra and Vera's obsession with the human toys only deepened. What had started as a casual interest in Earth's oddities had now turned into something far more significant. They were no longer simply collecting toys for fun. They were studying them, analyzing them, trying to understand what made them so vital to humans. But they had to keep their growing interest a secret. If their family found out, they would be furious. The Xinar royal family had strict orders: observe, learn, and maintain the dignity of their people. They were here to form a strong alliance with Earth, not to get lost in the trivialities of human culture. King Tarvik, their father, had made it clear that their mission was far too important to be distracted by silly human inventions. He trusted his daughters to carry out their responsibilities, but he would not tolerate any waste of time. Lyra and Vera both understood the importance of their mission, but what they were learning about humans felt so much more real. Their people, the Xinar, had always prided themselves on their advanced technology and intellectual superiority. But these simple toys, these objects that helped humans cope with stress, focus, and connect emotionally, made them question everything they had been taught about what truly mattered in life. One evening, Lyra sat in the private quarters of their ship, surrounded by several of the toys they had collected. She ran her fingers over a smooth, rotating puzzle, watching as the pieces clicked together in a satisfying way. For the first time, she felt a sense of peace, a calmness she hadn't felt since arriving on Earth. "Do you think we're wasting time?" Vera's voice broke through the silence. She stood in the doorway, her expression serious. Lyra didn't look up, but her voice was soft. "I don't know anymore. I feel like there's something here, something important." Vera walked into the room and sat next to her sister. "I think so too. But you know Father won't understand. If he finds out about this, he'll have us sent back to Xinar. He thinks these toys are beneath us." Lyra paused, her fingers stilling on the toy. "I know, but it's not about the toys. It's about what they mean. These humans, they don't have our technology, our strength, but they've created these little things that help them stay calm, Stay focused. They're using their minds in a way we never have to. Vira nodded. It's strange, isn't it? They don't rely on advanced machines or weapons to solve problems. They use simple things to fix what's inside them. For the first time, Lyra looked up at her sister. Exactly. And maybe that's something we can learn from them. Maybe we've been so focused on technology and power that we've forgotten how to connect with ourselves, how to connect with others. Vira's eyes sparkled with excitement. So what do we do? Should we show Father what we've learned? Maybe he'll see it differently. Lyra shook her head. We can't. He won't understand. Not yet. But we can't stop now. We have to keep studying. We have to understand what makes these humans so resilient. Vira's face darkened slightly. What if we're wrong? What if we're just wasting time? What if we're being tricked by these little objects, and we don't see the bigger picture? Lyra was silent for a moment, thinking. I don't know, but I feel like we're onto something. These toys, they help humans with something we can't see. They help them with their emotions, their minds. We might not understand it fully, but there's something there. Vira leaned back, thinking. We should go deeper. We need to see more of how humans use these toys. We need to understand the connection between these simple objects and their minds. Maybe if we understand that, we can figure out how to make it work for us. Lyra nodded slowly. We'll have to keep it a secret. We can't let anyone know what we're doing. But I think we're onto something that could change everything. The sisters sat in silence for a while, each lost in their thoughts. They knew they were walking a dangerous line. If their father found out, he might see their actions as a betrayal. But they couldn't shake the feeling that what they were discovering about humanity was too important to ignore. These little toys, so simple and yet so powerful, held the key to understanding something far deeper about humans, and maybe even about themselves. And so, they continued their secret research, sneaking away from their royal duties to explore more of Earth's culture, all the while questioning everything they thought they knew. Their mission had become something else entirely. What had started as a diplomatic mission to understand humans now felt like a journey to understand the very essence of life itself. The journey back to the Steinar homeworld was a quiet one. Lyra and Vira sat side by side in their private chambers aboard the royal ship, each lost in their own thoughts. The toys they had collected lay in front of them, neatly arranged. Every toy, every object, was a piece of the puzzle they hoped would change everything. The weight of their decision pressed heavily on them. They had no idea how the Steinar Council would react. They had spent their lives in a society that valued strength, intellect, and technology. Emotions, memories, and connections, things they had learned to cherish through their study of human toys, were often dismissed as weaknesses. The ship's lights dimmed as the soft hum of the engines filled the room. Lyra broke the silence first. What if they don't understand? What if they think we've gone mad? Vira turned to her sister, her eyes reflecting the same doubt. I'm scared too. We're challenging everything we've been taught. We're not just questioning technology. We're questioning the very foundation of our society. Lyra placed a hand on the table, feeling the smooth surface of a small human doll. It had a tiny dress, delicate and colorful, its painted face smiling up at them. But we've seen it, Vira. We know what these toys represent. They hold memories, connections, love, things that Steinar have forgotten. Maybe they need to see it, feel it for themselves. Vira nodded, though her expression was still filled with uncertainty. But how do we explain that? How do we make them see something so intangible? Lyra took a deep breath. One step at a time. We show them the toys, let them hold them, let them see what we've learned. Maybe, just maybe, they'll understand. But if not, we have to be ready to accept that we might be alone in this. The ship's arrival at the Steinar homeworld signaled the beginning of their mission. As the royal vessel landed in the vast, gleaming city, Lyra and Vira stepped onto the cold, metallic surface. The Steinar were waiting for them, their faces stern, their eyes filled with curiosity and caution. The sisters had no choice now but to face them. They were escorted to the council chamber, where the most powerful Xenar leaders sat, their eyes never leaving the sisters. Lyra and Vera placed the toys in front of them. The room fell silent. The eldest counselor, a tall Xenar with silver skin and piercing blue eyes, spoke first. "You've returned with toys, objects of no value. What is the meaning of this?" Lyra's heart pounded, but she remained calm. "These are not just toys. They are symbols of something important. We've spent time with humans, and we've learned that these simple objects carry deep meaning for them. They represent their memories, their connections to one another, their emotions." The counselor raised an eyebrow. "Emotions? Humans are weak. They cling to objects like these because they cannot face the truth of their existence. They live in the past, not in the present." Vera stepped forward, her voice steady but firm. "Maybe we've been wrong. Maybe it's not about strength or intellect. Maybe it's about the connections we have with one another. These toys aren't just things. They carry pieces of human lives, pieces of love, pain, joy. They remind them of who they are, where they came from." The council murmured, their expressions unreadable. Lyra could feel the tension in the air, but she pushed forward. "We've spent so long focusing on our power, on what we can do, that we've forgotten how to connect with each other. These toys, they teach us that strength doesn't come from technology or might. It comes from the relationships we build, the memories we share." For a long moment, no one spoke. The counselors examined the toys, their hands lingering over the small objects as if seeing them for the first time. Finally, the eldest counselor spoke again. "Your words are intriguing, but this is not how we've been taught. We value knowledge, progress, and strength. To embrace emotions and memories, things that cannot be measured, seems foolish." Lyra's heart sank, but she refused to give up. "We don't need to measure everything. Some things can't be quantified. Some things are felt, not calculated. Humans know this, and maybe we need to learn from them." The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Then, slowly, the counselors began to speak among themselves. Their voices were low, but there was a sense of curiosity in the air. Finally, the eldest counselor stood and turned to face Lyra and Vera. "We will consider your words. Perhaps there is something to what you say. But know this, change will not come easily. It may take generations for us to truly understand what you have shown us." Lyra and Vera exchanged a glance, both of them feeling a mix of relief and uncertainty. They had taken the first step, but they knew the journey ahead would not be simple. As they left the council chamber, their hearts lifted with the hope that the Xenar would begin to see what they had learned from humans. It wasn't just about toys or emotions. It was about connections, about love and memories, and the deep ties that bound all life together. They had started a conversation that would take time to grow, but it was a conversation that had to happen. And for the first time, Lyra and Vera believed that their people might one day see the true value in what they had discovered.